Hi, this is Brandon from Watches on You. Today we're going to be taking a look at the Oris Big Crown ProPilot Worldtimer. Now, right off the bat I want to remind you we're here at JB Hudson Jewelers in Minneapolis, Minnesota, taking a look at this very interesting piece. JB Hudson actually recently became an Oris authorized retailer, so they'll be getting many watches into their collection here with regards to Oris in the coming weeks. I'm very excited about that for the channel. They're also going to be a Grand Seiko retailer coming up soon, which will be, again, super exciting for the channel. I expect those videos will get tons of views with the newfound popularity of Grand Seiko. So now I'm going to begin with this piece, and I'll be leaving a link in the description if you want to learn more about it to a further extent than what I mention in this video, as I tend to keep it kind of brief. So now let's just jump right into the piece. So this watch's case is completely made out of stainless steel. It has both brushed and polished surfaces. They look absolutely fantastic. It has a beautiful clear case back where you can see the Oris movement, which is a modified ETA 2836-2 movement, and the extent of the modification will be seen shortly here as I analyze the complications. But first I want to mention this case is water resistant to 100 meters. That's pretty common with most Oris watches, and 100 meters is perfect. Considering that this comes on a leather strap, you're not really going to be swimming with it anyways, and definitely not diving with it, so I think that water resistance is completely fair for this. I do get bothered by how some of their divers, such as the Diver 65, have 100 meter water resistance. I think they should have upped it to 200, but that's just a personal preference. So now I'll move into the complications of this watch, and there are many. So this watch, it's called the Worldtimer, as you may have noticed, but it's not a Worldtimer in the sense that it doesn't display the different time zones around a ring in the dial and sort of operate that way. It's more of just a dual time zone watch, but the mechanism by which you change the time of the second time zone is absolutely fantastic. So what you do here is you grab the bezel, and it's not, and notice I'm not moving it all around the dial as I switch the hour hand, and you can see the hour hand is going to jump as I move, and it looks very cool and operates in a very cool way. So if you want to go back, again, you just go counterclockwise. If you want to go forward, you go clockwise, and it has a very cool feel to it, and it's nice because it has this kind of grippy surface. It's not really a coin edge beveling, but it looks very nice on this watch. So as you can see, the subdials, you have a running seconds and then your second time zone here, and what's kind of fun to play with is if you unscrew the crown here, and it is the big crown. The crown is rather large compared to most watches. You can see the minute hands just flying around the dial, and also this watch has a day-night indicator, so I'll move it to a nighttime setting. That day-night indicator is in the subdial, so as you can see, it's right here. It's becoming right here. It's becoming more black as I move the dual time zone, and then once I get to morning, it'll become white again, and it looks really cool. I really like how they chose to have the black date wheel on this. Oris is actually pretty good with that. I think it shows quality on the part of the manufacturer that they chose to go with the black date wheel to match the dial a little bit better. Although this dial isn't really black, it's more of a silvered color. It looks very nice either way. So one kind of criticism I have about this is the clear case back. I don't really know why Oris includes that, as these are, so clear case backs on watches in this price range, and at least, like, I guess a Nomos is kind of in this price range, but they actually finish their movements really well. This, they don't really do any finishing, and I think that's kind of a juvenile approach to it. It's not, beginners aren't buying Orises. Professionals and people who actually need this complication are buying it, I think. And I think it's a bit silly to include a clear case back, which probably doesn't really amuse them, and given that it's not a completely steel back, it's not as durable. So I think it would have been nicer on this watch if they chose to make a completely steel case back. Many of you may not feel the same way, but I tend to feel that way. But again, the rest of the watch quality is absolutely superb. It beats anything in this price point, and this watch retails for $3,600, which is considerably cheaper than any other dual time watch with a complication like this. So now I'll try it on for a wrist shot, and before I forget to mention, the clasp is kind of interesting. What you need to do to operate it is you lift this panel out. It comes out like that, and it's kind of like you see on some less expensive clasps where you lift open a little kind of safety latch here and then you can open the deployant. It's kind of the same thing, but this is spring loaded. It feels really nice. I think they probably chose to do that because you could put it on a little bit easier. All you have to do is push this down and then you just kind of shove it in and it closes nicely. It definitely makes it feel a little bit more secure, but again, I'll try it on for a wrist shot. So the diameter of this watch is 44.70 millimeters, and that is quite large, but I do appreciate how they chose to go to 2 decimal places on that size. I think that's kind of an interesting feature. Sorry about the focus there. And I don't really understand why they do that. They're the only manufacturer that I've seen that goes to 2 decimal places. That's a little bit extreme, but shows that they definitely care about quality, which I appreciate. So again, the case size, it's a little big. I have about a 6.5 inch in circumference wrist, and I think that it looks pretty big on me. It definitely wears more like a 46 to 48, just because, again, the big crown sort of makes it look a little bit bigger and feel a little bit bigger. But overall, I think it looks really cool. It's definitely, again, made for people with much larger wrists, or people who are using it for aviation so you can see it easier. So if you like this video, please remember to subscribe and share. Thank you.